The snow on Vaelthryxa 7 was not real. It was made by machines, falling softly from the sky to make humans feel at home. Every year during intergalactic Christmas, the colony turned bright and colorful. Lights floated in the air. Music played in every street. Aliens and humans celebrated peace together. But not everyone was smiling. At the edge of the colony lived a quiet human named Eli Vance. Eli worked alone in a small metal workshop. The walls were thin. The heater barely worked. Still, Eli stayed awake every night, his hands shaking from cold as he worked on something special. On his table were Christmas ornaments. They were not normal ornaments. They were made from scrap metal, crystal dust, and old energy chips. Inside each one, tiny lights floated like trapped stars. When Eli touched them, they glowed softly, changing color like breathing. Eli smiled every time he saw them. "These are different," he whispered to himself. "These will matter." The next morning, Eli carried a box of ornaments to the colony square. People were setting up decorations for the festival. Tall alien banners waved in the air. Giant screens showed welcome messages in many languages. As soon as Eli opened his box, laughter started. A group of humans stopped and stared. "What is that?" One man laughed. "Did he make toys from trash?" Another said that an alien merchant tilted his head. "Human craft is strange," he said politely, but his eyes showed doubt. Eli's face turned red. He said nothing. He gently placed his ornaments on a small stand near the edge of the square. A woman shook her head. "No one will look at those," she said. "This festival is for important guests." Eli stepped back. He already knew this would happen. It always did. People had laughed at him since he arrived on Vaelthryxa 7. They said humans were builders, fighters, workers, but not artists. Not dreamers. Eli was called useless, slow, strange. Still he believed. That night, when the colony slept, something changed. The ornaments began to glow brighter. Soft light spread across the square. One by one, the ornaments lifted into the air. They moved slowly, quietly, like they were alive. Lines of light connected them, forming shapes, stars, wings, and symbols no human had ever seen. Above them, the sky shimmered. Eli watched from a distance, hidden in shadow. His heart raced. "I didn't program that," he whispered. The next day was the most important day of the festival. The dragon princess Vaelthryxa was coming. Everyone knew her name. She ruled a powerful star empire. Her species was ancient, proud, and feared. She rarely visited human worlds. Security ships filled the sky. The colony leaders stood in perfect lines. Every decoration was checked again and again. No one looked at Eli. He stood quietly near his ornaments. Some had dimmed, like they were waiting. Then the sky burned bright red. A massive ship descended, shaped like folded wings. Heat rolled across the square. People stepped back in fear and awe. The ship opened. Vaelthryxa stepped out. She was tall, with scales that shimmered like molten gold. Her eyes burned like fire, yet held deep intelligence. Long horns curved back from her head, decorated with royal markings. The crowd bowed. Vaelthryxa did not speak at first. She walked slowly through the square, her footsteps heavy. Her eyes scanned every decoration, every banner. She looked bored. Then she stopped. Her gaze turned toward the edge of the square, toward Eli's ornaments. The colony leaders froze. "That section is unfinished," one leader said quickly. "Just human scrap art. Not important." Vaelthryxa did not answer. She walked closer. The ornaments began to glow. Soft light reflected in Vaelthryxa's eyes. She reached out slowly, carefully, like she was touching fire. That Eli's breath stopped. Vaelthryxa picked up one ornament. It was the largest one, shaped like a delicate crown, with floating lights inside it, spinning gently. The square went silent. Vaelthryxa turned the ornament in her claws. The light changed color, gold, blue, red. It pulsed in rhythm with her breath. Her eyes widened. "This," she said softly, "was made by a human?" Everyone stared at Eli. He swallowed hard and stepped forward. "Yes," he said quietly. "I made it." Vaelthryxa looked at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she raised the ornament toward her head. The light flared brighter than ever before. And the crowd realized something was about to change forever. The square stayed silent. Every eye was fixed on Zifra, the dragon princess, as she lifted the glowing ornament. The soft light reflected across her golden scales, making them shine like fire under ice. Slowly, carefully, she placed the ornament on her head. For one heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the light exploded outward. The ornament did not burn. It did not break. Instead, it changed. The floating lights inside it stretched and curved, forming thin lines of energy. They wrapped gently around Zifra's horns, fitting her perfectly, as if the ornament had been waiting for her alone. A wave of warm air rolled across the square. People gasped. Some stepped back in fear. Others fell to their knees without knowing why. Eli stood frozen. His hands shook. He had never seen his creation react like this. He had built the ornament with care, but this was beyond anything he understood. Zifra closed her eyes. The lights slowed. Their colors softened into deep gold and calm blue. When she opened her eyes again, her voice sounded different, lower, quieter, full of wonder. "This ornament listens," she said. The colony leaders exchanged confused looks. "It listens to what?" one of them asked carefully. Zifra turned her head slightly, to the heart of its maker. Her gaze returned to Eli. The crowd parted as if pushed by an invisible force. Eli suddenly stood alone in the open square. He felt small, exposed, like a child standing before a queen of stars. "I did not mean to make anything powerful," Eli said. "I just wanted to make something beautiful." Zifra's lips curved into a slow smile. "That is why it works," she replied. The ornament pulsed again. Light lifted from it and spread into the air. One by one, Eli's other ornaments rose from their stands, floating upward. They moved like a flock of glowing birds, circling Zifra in perfect balance. Gasps filled the square. Lines of light connected the ornaments, forming shapes in the sky, ancient symbols, star maps, and moving images. People watched in shock as the lights showed scenes of human worlds, alien worlds, and paths between them. "This is old technology," Zifra said softly. "Older than my empire." The leaders panicked. "That is impossible," one said. "Humans are new. They do not have such knowledge." Zifra turned sharply. The air felt heavier. "Knowledge is not always remembered," she said. "Sometimes it is felt." She looked back at Eli. "You built this without knowing what it truly was. That is rare." Eli felt his chest tighten. "I just followed what felt right," he said. "The shapes came to me in dreams." At this, Zifra's expression changed. "Dreams," she repeated. The lights shifted again. This time, the images became darker. Stars flickered. Shadows moved between systems. A massive shape appeared briefly, then vanished. Eli felt cold. Zifra reached up and touched the ornament on her head. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "This ornament is not only for beauty," she said. "It is a warning." The crowd murmured nervously. "A warning of what?" someone shouted. Zifra did not answer at once. She looked at Eli instead. "You can see it, can't you?" she asked him quietly. Eli stared at the lights. His heart raced. The shapes made sense to him in a way he could not explain. Paths, timings. "Danger." "Yes," he said slowly. "Something is coming." The ornaments dimmed, then slowly lowered themselves back to their stands. The square returned to normal light, but the feeling did not fade. Zifra turned to the crowd. "This human's work will remain," she announced. "This ornament will stay with me tonight." A wave of shock passed through the colony. "To wear it," she continued, "is to accept its message. And I accept it." She stepped closer to Eli. "You will walk with me during the festival," she said. "You will explain what you see." Eli froze. "Me?" Zifra nodded. "You made something that speaks to the future. That makes you important." Around them, the people who had laughed at Eli now avoided his eyes. As Zifra turned and walked toward the festival hall, the ornament glowing steadily on her head, Eli followed, his life already changed beyond return. High above, unseen by all, a distant star flickered and went dark. The festival hall was silent. Music had stopped. Laughter had faded. Every screen and every eye followed the glowing ornament on Dragon Princess Zifra's head as she walked to the center of the great hall. The light was calm now, steady like a living heart. Elier walked beside her. Only hours ago no one knew his name. Now people stepped back as he passed, whispering softly. Some looked ashamed. Others looked afraid. Zifra raised one claw. The hall obeyed. This festival was made to celebrate unity, she said. But unity cannot exist where voices are ignored. Her eyes turned to Elier. This human was mocked, she continued. His work was dismissed as useless. Yet it speaks with the voice of ancient stars. The ornament pulsed gently. Elier swallowed. He felt the familiar pull in his chest again. The same feeling he had while building the ornaments, the same feeling from his dreams. I see paths, he said slowly. Paths between worlds. And something moving through them. The light shifted. A map formed above the crowd, stars connected by glowing lines. One area blinked red. That place, Elier said, pointing. That is where the darkness begins. Zifra nodded. You see what my scholars could not. The colony leaders looked terrified. What darkness? One demanded. Elier hesitated. Then he spoke, his voice stronger than he expected. A force that eats light, he said. It destroys worlds quietly. It has already started moving. A low sound filled the hall. Fear. Zifra stepped forward. This ornament, she said, touching it, was designed long ago to awaken when such a threat returned. It responds to empathy, not power. She turned to the crowd. Humans believe they are weak, she said. But they forget something important. Her gaze softened. They create with hope, even when no one is watching. The ornament shone brighter. Zifra removed it slowly and held it out toward Elier. A gasp filled the hall. This belongs to your kind, she said. I wore it so all would listen. But its heart is human. Elier stared at it. His hands trembled as he accepted the ornament. The light warmed his skin. I don't know if I'm worthy, he said. Zifra smiled. Worth is proven by action. She turned to the crowd again. This colony will become a signal point, she announced. Humans and dragons will work together. And this inventor will lead the effort. No one argued. In the days that followed, everything changed. Elier's workshop became a center of activity. Engineers, scholars, and pilots gathered around his designs. The ornaments were no longer decorations. They were beacons, tuned to warn nearby systems. People who once laughed now listened carefully. Elier worked day and night, but he was not alone anymore. On the final night of the festival, Zifra stood beside him on a balcony overlooking the colony. Snow fell gently from the machines above. Your people surprised the galaxy, she said. Elier looked at the stars. We are used to being overlooked. That may end, Zifra replied. Far away, beyond known space, something shifted. A shadow turned its attention toward the growing light. But it was no longer alone. Across Vaelthryxa, 7, the ornaments glowed, small, simple creations carrying a powerful message. Humans were watching now. And the stars remembered them.